Good morning. My name's Ray. I'm with Team S.T.E.A.M. This morning I'm here at Flash Industrial Painting, and I'm supposed to be working outside today. I'm supposed to be sandblasting this morning, but since it's going to rain this morning, I think we'll go ahead and build us another chair. This is the same thing. I found this swing set. My daughter and I found this swing set when we were dropping some stuff off at the city dump. It was bent, twisted, broken in spots. Like this connection right here was broken, and this one down here I think was too. And it was just in bad shape. And then the seat had cloth just hanging off of it. So we took it, we threw it in the corner of the yard for about, half a year, maybe even a full year. And then I finally got around to it, and we took all the cloth off of it, straightened everything up, welded everything up, got everything all squared away the way we want it. And then I used pallets once again to cover it, drywall screws, drilled holes. And I've never had one board come loose, and it works great. And it'll hold 500 or more pounds. We know that for sure, and has many, many, many times. Well, hi. Well, hi, little prissy. I know, but I'm trying to talk to the people here. And this is nearly the same age, if not the same age, 4 or 5 years old. Held up great. It was a good save. And this is one of 4 chairs that we have on our back deck. And this cloth gave way within the first year. So I'm going to cut apart some pallets and cover this frame with slats of pallet that have been cut on a table saw and on a chop saw. And then I'll stain them and do some design with it. And I'll do all 4 of them. Well, there's 5. 4 of these that pivot and 1 that doesn't pivot, but they're all kind of a set and they all go together, and they'll all be the same design. So it looks like underneath there, what we have is a kind of stained up fabric that's probably good. It's probably been protected from the sun enough it could probably go a few years, but we're going to go ahead and start the process anyway. I see some of the stitching starting to give way. I'm just going to go ahead and cut that off there and start figuring out how I'm going to do it. I'm going to use for this job is just a standard utility knife, and I'm going to cut that, and then I'm just going to cut that and that. And after I cut this one right here, there's still going to be plenty of it attached to that rubber that's down in that groove. So I'm going to pull this cap off the end. I'm going to get a hold of that rubber. I'll pull this cap off the end. Then I'm going to get a hold of that rubber that's down in there. It's just a little rubber, I don't know, it's a little rubber piece. Get a hold of it and pull it out of there. And it'll still have some of this fabric attached to it, but then it'll be free and clear and out of my way. Okay, now what you're trying to do is you're trying to get your knife down into this channel right here. And if you can slip it underneath the other side of the channel, you can cut this clean all the way down. And I'll show you what I mean. That in there like that. You might have to get the end a couple times because those have a lot of extra stitching and layers. Make sure your hands are clear. But then see how I'm under that channel. So the knife is in there quite a ways. See that? Now I'm getting close to my leg, so I'm going to have to move my leg out of the way. And you can just pull it away clean. And as I mentioned, there's a rubber piece down in there that now has this cloth wrapped around it. And I'm going to pull the cap off the back. This cap right here off the back. Slip my screwdriver in there and try and wedge it out of there. There we go. Now you see what I mean? There's that rubber piece. I'm just going to try and get a hold of it, get a little poker, get a hold of it and stab it and pull it out of there. Got my poker. Yeah. Not sure if it's rubber or what it is, but that's what they attach those with. Now we'll do the other side. Get my poker. Now we've got those out of there. And these channels are now clear. If you look in the end, you see what this channel is made of? It's just nice steel, same thickness as everything else, but it's its own layer. That's what I'm drilling into, and that's what I'm screwing into, is that layer. So you don't have to have terribly long screws, and it's quite durable. They hold up well. So now, we'll go ahead and cut this guy. Trying to hold the camera with one hand, so. Okay, now we'll do the same to the other side. And then we'll pull this up off here too. Throw that over. Okay, so we're ready to get started, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to select a few of these boards out of here that are the exact same ones from the last project. Same size, same everything. And I'm going to put them strategically across here, then drill my holes, screw them into place so they'll make good baseboards here, and then I'm going to do the same thing here and even one at the very top. And that's where I'll begin. Now I've got my workstation set up over here is going to be, once again, my smaller bit. So I don't make the mistake of taking the larger bit, the one intended to drill only the wood, and drill the steel with it. So keep the smaller bit over here, keep my screws over here, and my screw gun over here. And then over here we've got, once I get the boards selected and cut, I will sand them, and I will use this clear to go over them and get them sealed up on 3 sides before I install them all on the chair. Okay, so I've selected 7 boards here, and the idea is that I'm going to run 4 of these boards on the bottom and 3 of them across the back. I won't need nearly as much support across the back as I would on the bottom, and this is for my situation. If your situation has people that you think weigh more, then you should maybe select wider boards. Or if these are just going to be for predominantly kids to sit on, then you don't have to go as heavy as I'm going. I'm going a size that would meet most Americans right in the middle. So I'm going to do 4 boards across the bottom and 3 across the back. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take these boards over here to this station, and I'm going to sand them all 4 sides, and I'm going to put this on all 4 sides, and I'm going to put them on here. They'll be wet, but it won't be bad. That's not polyurethane. It comes off your hands with water completely easy. So we'll put them on here completely wet. That way when I put the other boards down, which will have 3 of the 4 sides done, it'll be a sealed up side against a sealed up side, and then you can basically set it and forget it. Now here I'm going with a 6-inch DA sander. There's a lot of different ways you can do this. You can put sandpaper on your hand and do it, but I'm doing a 6-inch DA sander, 80 grit. You don't want to do 80 grit on anything you intend to stain that is going to be completely visible, because it will show up. But these aren't going to be visible, and I'm not going to stain them. So I just want them abraded very well so I can put that clear protection on them. Okay, now I've got my boards all sealed up, and I'm just going to leave them here for a few minutes so that can soak in. That stuff dries really fast, and it doesn't have any oil in it or anything. I'm not recommending any products, but so far this one is working out great for yard furniture. And so I'm going to leave these here for a few minutes to dry. I'm going to select a few of these boards, which have been sitting here in front of here, the stove drying. I left them outside last night and it rained. And I'm going to take a few of these boards and sand them down and get them ready to go on top of these. So I'm going to take the first one and I'm going to put it here. I'm going to go ahead and drill with my smaller bit all the way through this board on both ends, and all the way through the first channel, the only interior channel, not all the way through the whole thing, just through that interior channel. And then I'm going to screw this one board in place, Then I'm going to measure back roughly 6 inches, do it again, 6 inches, do it again, and then have one at the back that'll be about 6 inches as well. They'll be pretty evenly spaced. Okay, so I've got my first one screwed in place, and then I just measured back roughly 5 inches between each one, and now they're all in there even. Now I'm going to go ahead and drill these holes and put those screws in. So now we have these 4 boards screwed in place. That's good and solid. I'm going to go ahead and mount the 3 back ones. Now on these 3 back ones, we're going to have the same basic principle as we did here. We're going to be drilling into it, only we're just going to be drilling right into the face of this. Smaller hole so it grips the screw, bigger hole in the wood. Now bear in mind, as I'm doing this project in here, I have a semi we're getting ready to sandblast and paint, and then we have a electric bike that the crew is sanding down that we're going to be getting some paint on as well. So now I've measured them out again, fairly even. They're not 100% even, but it's about where I want them. And then I've marked them with tape. Tape is just easier because it's very, very visible, and it's better than trying to find something that will mark on these that's visible. Now on the bottom here, I've gone with a 2-inch drywall screw because that's how deep the channel is, and that's going to serve me the best and not go completely through the bottom of this. I don't want anything poking out. Now on the top, I would have had them poking out. If I'd have done the 2-inch, it'd have gone straight through and poked through. And even if you remove it at that point, you do have a hole in the back. So on the ones that go on the back, I went with an 1 5/8 drywall screw, just standard black. Coarse thread, they don't have to be coarse thread, but that's what I went with. Drywall screw. So now we have all of our bracing in place. I'm going to go ahead and start laying out the top boards.